Hello everyone, it's Carl again from Games Brains Are Bang Life with day 27 of the lockdown list. And before I get into this, today's recommendation will be announced, and this is actually the penultimate episode of this series. Originally when we started it, I said that we'd run it as long as the lockdown continued. Simply put, that's just not going to be possible now. This is no end in sight. It's easily got a couple more weeks, and there isn't enough available that I feel I can recommend from the streaming services available in the UK without really scraping the barrel. I'll give you an example. There's a reason why Netflix hasn't really come up much in the last week or so, and it's simply put, every time I scroll through Netflix, I don't find anything worth recommending. There are many Hollywood glossy horrors on there, things that I expect people to have already seen. So that's not the point of this list. The idea was to pull out films that maybe people hadn't seen. So I ended up looking more into Amazon. But even that, I spend 10-15 minutes scrolling past lots of films that I've seen. I'm like, that's rubbish, that's rubbish, that's rubbish. You know, it's all good and proper sitting there saying, hey, you should check this out because it's fun or whatever. But even those are few and far between. Amazon might be a sinkhole, as I've often said, but it doesn't always mean what's there is great. You've got to really dig hard and take a chance a lot of the time to find something great. Then we turn into the likes of Shudder, paid for movies that you can rent on YouTube, Google Play and Amazon itself. And suddenly the list doesn't seem quite as useful as it was, where we're constantly just recommending films that you can rent via these services. The idea was originally we were going to focus mainly on the free stuff. That's proved bloody difficult. So yeah, we're going to bring it to a close tomorrow. Penultimate episode, and we're going to Prime for this one. Amazon Prime, where you will find a 1988 horror movie called Rabid Grannies. Chances are if you've seen it, you'll have looked at that cover and thought, whoa, that looks interesting. And it is perfect for the 80s, made for that time, the kind of movie that would get pillared nowadays, but as it was such an imaginative time in the 1980s for horror, my favourite era of horror, these sort of movies grew and grew and grew and were released, and everyone had a lot of fun with it. Rabid Grannies is a blast. It is so gory. I'm going to give you an advance warning now. This is brain dead, that movie, levels of gore. Or maybe not quite as high, but certainly as with imagination. It's very entertaining. It is very silly, very cheesy. Got some terrible acting, terrible dialogue, but it's just so much fun. The plot surrounds two elderly sisters throwing a birthday party at their expensive mansion in the country. They're not short of cash, something their nieces and nephews are all too aware of, each having been invited to the party, making their way there, and also making it clear that they're only putting the time in to get the money, to get put on the will. They're a horrible group of characters, horrible bunch of actors as well, put that out there right now. But yeah, each is just after the inheritance, and each have their kind of only their wacky characteristics as well that makes them stand out. You won't remember any of them, but you will at least notice them in this movie. It's at dinner that everything kind of kicks off, as the two elderly sisters are presented with gifts, including one that comes from the black sheep of the family, a nephew who dabbled in Satanism and black arts, meaning he was removed from the will of the sisters' will and ostracized from the entire family, hence why he's not here. However, he did send a gift, and this gift has a sinister purpose as it transforms the two sisters into vicious, bloodthirsty demons who simply begin attacking their guests. What follows here is a glorious demonic romp. As the guests try to survive, they're cut up, dismembered, left for dead, all across the mansion. The demon sisters are ruthless, but it's not just the level of brutality they dish out, it's the way they do it. They talk, and they have a lot of fun with it. They tease. A particular scene involves a nephew who recently entered the priesthood. He's cornered by the pair and given a choice. Either kill yourself with a shotgun, which of course will condemn his soul to hell, or put up with the torture we're going to do to you, which they describe to him in horrific detail. The film also wasn't afraid to push boundaries. Not just obviously making fun of Christianity, but also having a child die and get dismembered in it. There's so much gore, it's gleeful and hell of an entertaining watch. This one's on Amazon Prime, Rabid Grannies. Make sure you check it out. Come back tomorrow for the final day of the lockdown list. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?